You're watching Primetime News on MTV Sports. Up next is Action TV.
While the Secretary to the Central Province, Minister of Education, had failed to fill the position of principal at the Sri Sumangal Vidyalaya in Varipula, Kandy, which became vacant on the 22nd of November 2011, the Provincial Civil Appellate High Court in Kandy granted leave to proceed today for a petition pertaining to the matter. The petition filed by an officer of the Sri Lanka Education Administrative Service seeks writs of certiorari and mandamus. Prior to this, the Civil Appellate High Court also granted leave to proceed for a petition pertaining to the position of principal in question, seeking similar writs in June last year. The petition, which was granted leave to proceed today, notes that the Secretary to the Provincial Ministry of Education, who was cited as a respondent in the petition, had violated a court order issued on the 11th of July last year and had taken steps to appoint an unqualified individual to the position of principal at Sri Sumangal Vidyalaya on the 26th of December. 4 of the 6 individuals cited as respondents in the petition taken up today have also been cited as respondents in the previous petition. The first petition challenged the Provincial Education Ministry Secretary's decision to appoint a monk who had only 6 years of experience in the Sri Lanka Education Service to the position of principal of Sri Sumangal Vidyalaya on the 22nd of May last year. On the 11th of July last year, when the court issued an order suspending the appointment, the Provincial Education Secretary informed court that interviews would be held and a qualified candidate would be selected for the position. Considering the petition, the court also permitted the official carrying out the duties of principal at the school to continue to do so, until the point that this official went into retirement on the 24th of December last year. The Provincial Education Secretary had evaded appointing a suitable candidate for the position of principal in spite of the fact that interviews had been held on the 10th of September. On the 26th of December, the Provincial Education Secretary appointed the individual he had selected from the interviews, who incidentally does not even possess the qualifications to apply for an interview. The petition, which was granted leave to proceed by the court today, seeks an order invalidating the appointment letter granted by the Provincial Education Secretary on the 26th of December. The petitioner is an individual who was also interviewed on the 10th of September. The court also issued notices today requiring the 6 respondents indicted in the petition, including the Provincial Education Secretary, to be present in court on the 4th of March.
Poisonous chemicals dumped into the Mudunala in Makola. A large number of fish die as a result of this. There is a risk of the chemical spreading to the Muthurajavala and Kalaniya River. Bowser used to dump the chemicals taken into police custody. Fish cannot be seen in the Mudunala anymore. A poisonous chemical contaminates a canal that flows through the Hivala and Kalubovila, killing a large number of fish. Isn't it important to pay immediate attention to the impact these poisonous chemicals that contaminate canals could have on humans?
We start our sports with a look at cricket first. Powered by an unbeaten ton from Philippines, Australia beat Sri Lanka by 32 runs in the 5th and final one-day international in Hobart to level the series, the ODI series, 2-2. Incidentally, this was also the final game for Mahela Jayawardene as captain of Sri Lanka.
So the ball to come straight back at him.
Invited to bat first, Australia lost openers David Warner and Matthew Wade in the first 10 overs. Stand-in skipper George Bailey was undone next for 17. Phil Hughes, who scored a century on debut in the first ODI to give the Aussies a 1-0 lead, scored his second ton in the final game to salvage the home team from a series defeat.
Now he's got a second. Well, that's his history, Phil Hughes, if he gets.
After sharing a 98-run fourth-wicket stand with Hughes, David Hussey was undone for 34 by a superb solo effort from Thisara Pereira. Australia posted 247 for 5 at the end of their 50 overs, with Phil Hughes making an unbeaten 138 runs. Tilakratna Dilshan claimed a wicket for 22 in 7 overs, sending down 3 maidens in his spell.
138 not out.
That's flipped out. Chasing 248 for victory, Sri Lanka lost opener and skipper Mahela Jayawardene, who looked in crisp form, making 38 of 39.
Played beautifully.
Lahiru Tirumana fell next for a run, and after Tilakratna Dilshan's dismissal for 19, Xavier Doherty, who did not pick up a wicket in the series until this game, knocked out the stumps of Dinesh Chandimal for his third scalp of the match. Angelo Matthews and Jeevan Mendes gave the visitors some hope with a 79-run 6th wicket stand.
He's got hold of it, has he? Warner's under it, he can't get it!
But their consecutive wickets put the target beyond reach for the Lankans. Mendes made 26 while Matthews contributed 67. Nuwan Kulasekara was not out on 14, but the remaining tailenders failed to put up a fight as Sri Lanka were bowled out for 215 in the penultimate over, handing the Aussies a 32-run win to settle for a 2-all series draw.
Let's take a look back at some local news before we wrap up tonight's edition of Primetime News. The UNP Working Committee charges that the Sirasa Media Network has named individuals who have no expectation of holding positions for positions within the party. Now, this allegation was levelled in a proposal presented to the Working Committee the day before yesterday. Here is an excerpt from this proposal.
Excerpt. The Who Will Win the Jackpot segment telecast through the Sirsa TV channel regarding the positions of Deputy Leader, Assistant Leader and National Organizer of our party has come under the close scrutiny of the Working Committee. A factor that must be considered closely in this matter is that most of the individuals that Sirsa TV has nominated and brought to the field of competition are persons who have no expectations of holding these positions. If this institution thinks that party members can be maneuvered to become fighting cocks for their benefit, then it is a serious deception. Excerpt ends. Although the UNP Working Committee led by the opposition leader levelled allegations at the Sirsa Media Network, MPs who received the most number of SMS votes from the people through our news segment expressed these views.
කොළඹ දිස්ත්‍රික්කයෙන් ජීසල බස්නාහිර පළාත් සභාව නැතිනම් වැඩිම මනාපින් ශක්තිමත් ලෙස නැගෙන්න පුළුවන් නම් කාන්තාවක් විදියට. අර අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ජාතික සංවිධායක හැටියට.
As a woman, I was able to secure the most number of votes from the Colombo district and in the provincial council election. I definitely have the ability to go around the country, gather members and strengthen party organizations as the national organizer. The people of this country have understood as to who works for them with responsibility, dedication and courage. I am very thankful to you for naming me for this position and inquiring into people's views. I felt a sense of pride in how I was assessed. I can clearly see that my silent service has been accepted by the people. While I express my gratitude to Sirasa for this, I also thank the people.
පහුගිය පාර්ලිමේන්තු මැතිවරණයේදී ලංකාවෙන් සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මැතිතුමාට පමණක් දෙවෙනි වෙන මනා ප්‍රතිශතය දීලා අපේ පක්ෂ නායකතුමාටත් වඩා 100.
Why is it that people like me from the rural level came second only to Sajid Premadasi in the last parliamentary election in Sri Lanka in terms of the percentage of preferential votes and even secured 0.03% more than the party leader? It is because of the trust placed in us. Because of the trust in our abilities, our creativity and our skill. That is why we have the ability and strength to bear any responsibility or any position conferred on us by the party. Because of the strength we have been given by the people, we do not have even a shred of doubt about this. I am thankful to the Sirasa Media Network which held an SMS competition. I received the most number of SMS votes from the people from the position of assistant leader of our party. There might be those who bought SMS votes. In various competitions, you may have those who buy SMS votes. But a person like me received that amount of SMS votes because of the people's trust in us.
So අය ඉන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම ගස්සන අය ඉන්න පුළුවන් විවිධ තරංගවල. හැබැයි මම වගේ කෙනෙකුට එහෙම SMS ප්‍රමාණයක් දුන්නේ ජනතාව අපි ගැන තියපු විශ්වාසය නිසා.
Are the points contained in the Working Committee proposal against Sirasa pertaining to the naming of these MPs who have won public trust still valid? Why is it that the Working Committee, including the UNP leader, is unable to understand? Why is it that the Working Committee, including the UNP leader, is unable to understand that MPs with an active voter base aspire to hold positions within the party and carry out those responsibilities? Against this backdrop, isn't it the Working Committee led by the UNP leadership, which has lost 29 elections since 1994, that has lost face?
Well, that's a wrap of your Primetime News Bulletin here on MTV Sports. I'm Krishni Panditaratna.
And I'm Nadim Majid. Good night.